Now I'd like to go to Ajitabh sir. The era is of sustainability and green future, and being the CMD of Jaipur City's transport services, the Jaipur city must be investing a lot in electric vehicle, electric mobility, sustainable mobility. So what are your experiences from that, sir?
Okay. First of all, thanks to Elets for inviting me, and thanks to Binod, Swati, and Jakirji, and Randhirji, and all the audience who are present here. So, as regard to electric mobility, what we are attempting, and first of all, the current scenario is that my current fleet size is 300, and we are planning to add around roughly 1,000 electric buses in Jaipur city in a phased manner in 3 years. So first year we would be adding 300, that is 2023. 2024 we would be adding another 300 electric buses, and then 2025 the remaining 400 buses will be adding into our fleet. See, the point is that operating electric buses is not only about like hiring the buses maybe on NCC or GCC model or self-owned buses, though we are adopting the gross cost contract pattern which Government of India, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is also now propagating and asking all the states and city bus authorities to adopt. So on GCC model, but the major challenge is that how do we create a kind of electric mobility ecosystem? Because there are 2-3 different technical aspects when you induct electric buses in your fleet. That is, one is what is the range of those buses. So, and what is the size of the buses which we are hiring? Like is it 7-meter bus? Is it 9-meter bus, or is it 12-meter bus? That is mini, midi and standard. So each bus would be having a different range. So like the 9-meter Tata Motors electric buses are having a range of say like 180 kilometers. But in the Grand Challenge 2, which CESL has off late floated, so it is being claimed that the range of those midi buses would be more than 220 kilometers per day. So my average operation of a bus is roughly around 240 kilometers per day. So the first and biggest challenge is that if I procure electric buses which have a single charge range of like 180 kilometers or 200 kilometers, then there is a big problem. So that is the number one challenge, because I cannot keep my buses parked during the daytime, maybe at the depot or any terminal or any bus queue stop, where they take like, say, if it is a fleet of 300 electric buses, then if it takes like 1 or 2 hours, I cannot keep them unoperational during that period. So first challenge is the range of the buses which I procure. So if higher is the range, then battery size increases. If battery size increases, the average comes down. It hits my commercial viability. So the size of the bus, the range of the bus, the per kilometer gross cost contract which I will identify, these all parameters jointly, and the intermittent charging stations and ecosystem which I will have to create in whole of the city. These would be the challenges which I would have to take account of and then further titrate and then decide my fleet size. But few certain interventions which we are taking is that because of the impact of global warming and changing climate and the summer month getting preceded by a period of like 60 or 90 days, and we have severe impact, and sometimes the temperature reaches up to 40, 45 and sometimes to 50 degrees centigrade also in Jaipur city. So all new buses which we would be procuring would be electric and air conditioned. That is the first step we have taken, because if we ply non-air conditioned buses in a town like Jaipur city, then maybe during the non-peak hours the load factor would not be sufficient, and this problem we are already encountering, because people have started moving less out during the daytime when the temperature is very high in that period of 4-5 months. So we are trying to capture the traffic during that period also. One thing. Another thing is there is a big challenge that the battery life of these electric buses is like 7 to 8 years. though they are on GCC model, but what happens, because the contracts in which we are entering with the service provider, it is say like for 12 and further extendable to 3, that is 15 years. So if it is for 12 to 15 years, then how does get built in that cost of repair, maintenance, though it comes into per kilometer cost, but these are the challenges. So we are looking after these challenges. And another thing is that regarding IT intervention, we have recently launched an app in Jaipur city for electronic ticketing and online ticket booking. So there the small intervention which we have done is that now all our buses are GPS enabled. So the new buses would also be GPS enabled. And at the same time, in all buses, the tickets are issued through ETM. I think it is same in Calcutta also, in Mumbai and Delhi. So we marry these two data sets and try to optimize the operations during the peak and non-peak hours. And we also reschedule and readjust our fleet size so that we are able to capture the highest load of passengers through the fleet size which I have. So, and the results are that now we have been able to capture, say, around, though if you compare it with Calcutta city, that number would appear to be very meager to you. But like we have increased 30% passenger load from the existing fleet size. So better asset utilization without making any investment in capex and without making not much of an investment in the software or data analytics part of the IT infrastructure, we have been able to optimize and improve and enhance our efficiencies. So this is all what we are like planning.
So like in some of the countries abroad, for transportation, they have got a card. And that card works everywhere. Go in taxi, go in car, go in buses, go in metro, go in train. So I don't think in India, in any city we have come up with such thing, or in any state where this can be merged so that we don't need to carry so many cards or so many apps. So what are your thoughts on that, sir?
See, I have also worked as the CMD of Jaipur Metro Rail Corporation for around 1 year and 3 months, and now I am looking after the city bus transport services in Jaipur. Both metro and now we have launched our card also. So our card would be like physical card which you carry. So you tap it on the ETM, it would be a kind of preloaded card.
Yes, sir.
You can generate the ticket. So even if you do not have the card is there because there are around 9 to 10 major concessional ticket categories also. Like for women, we would charge 50% only. Like for the students, there would be 30% of the discount for freedom fighters and disabled. And so sometimes that physical card becomes necessary in the initial stages for the identification of the commuter. But there is a feature for the virtual card also. You can generate the online QR code also for the ticket. That is fine. But these all systems are closed loop cards as of now. So when I was in metro, I had basically what you are talking about is like an NCMC card, National Common Mobility Card, which was launched by Honorable Prime Minister and I think Delhi of late only. Initially DMRC. DMRC also had lot of objections and hiccups in adopting NCMC. But what I have heard is I was in Delhi a week ago. So perhaps for few select routes they have adopted the NCMC thing. See, now the challenge in NCMC is that if there is a common card, so through that common card you can travel in city bus, you can travel in metro, and when you talk about Rajasthan, you can travel also in RSRTC, that is the state transport undertaking, which operates interstate and inter-district buses. So, but the initial challenge which comes among different authorities is that the revenue goes into one kitty. So it has to be segregated. There are IT solutions for it. NCMC provides IT solutions for it. So then it has to get distributed. So but when I was in metro, I suggested it to government that we should take a policy decision, because then it requires a policy decision, because metro CMD is someone else, then CMD JCTSL is someone else, and CMD RSRTC is someone else. And maybe a day would come when we would talk about use of NCMC even by the private minibus operators. That is the whole idea. So there has to be a policy decision. Number two, how the revenue would be shared. There are IT solutions, but the biggest problem which I faced in metro was that you have to upgrade your IT hardware infrastructure, from where that cost would come, because then it operates on a predefined software platform. So that platform has to be workable on your IT hardware also. So say for example, in my case, it will not happen directly through the payment gateway thing. In my case, then I will have to maybe replace my ETMs also. In metro, it would be slightly easier, but then at the ticket checkpoint or the tap card hardware system, they will have to change that hardware system also. So at the initial level, it involves huge costs. So unless there is an organization or authority of the size of, say, like for Calcutta City or DMRC or Mumbai Best or DTC in Delhi, so they can come out with a viable financial solution in the long term. But for smaller organizations, MCMC would be little difficult at the first stage. And more so, then you have to rope in the banks and other financial institutions, because in the initial stage, they will have to give some kind of added incentive, like in our card. So we charged 60 rupees for the card, but the travel kilometers we gave was around 110 kilometers.
More than what?
Yeah, so we subsidized in the initial phase. So the number of cards we distributed, they were instantly utilized within a period of 15 days. My system got tested, my IT system got tested. That was the whole idea behind it. So now how we are planning how to roll out the virtual card, and then later on we will progress towards NCMC. But yes, NCMC will certainly come a day. Time is not far, but we have to little bit patient about it, in the sense, and we have to think about it that why DMRC itself, which is a giant and mammoth metro rail organization, the biggest organization, metro rail organization in the country, they also took some time. So I think that would be the next step for our IT intervention and public service.